Hi, today I'm going to show you guys my journal ecosystem. So if you've never heard of your journal ecosystem, think of a real life ecosystem where either an ecosystem of animals or bacteria where like things like live together and they cohabitat together. And with journals, if you have multiple journals, kind of a little ecosystem of like things that you write in daily, or if you have like a planner that you write in daily, or like things that you like to keep track of. If you have like a movie journal or a book journal, or maybe even a music journal where you like keep track of movies and books that you've seen and read and music that you've listened to, things like that. There's a lot of journal ideas out there. And I'm going to show you guys what's in my journal ecosystem, because I surprisingly have 4 journals that I am using pretty much daily. And so yeah, let's get started. So we have 4 journals here, all in pretty much different sizes. This one's a little bit bigger, and this is obviously the smallest one. And yes, you can tell that I love stickers and have some kind of sticker collection. I recently organized all of my stickers, and there were so surprisingly a lot. I just love supporting small businesses, and I love stickers, so it's just been so much fun putting stickers everywhere and just finding a little spot on one of these journals to put a sticker on. And almost all of these have pen loops too, and most of them have elastic bands too. And I'm not going to go through like where I got all of these journals because they're all sort of random, but on one of my most recent videos I did talk about some of my favorite journal supplies, so you can catch that to see what are the kind of journals that I do like. So let's start with my bullet journal. So you might have heard of bullet journals before. It's sort of like a dotted journal, or maybe even a completely blank journal, or even like a grid journal kind of paper where people will like create their own custom planner for like the whole year. And I started doing that in 2024, but I just kind of fell off with that. So like towards the end of 2025, I started using it again, and I enjoyed doing that. I love writing things down, especially like my daily tasks. And I started using one again, and my partner actually got me this one for Christmas because I desperately needed a new one after I finished for 2025. So I'm so excited to start another one for 2026 to 2027. Bullet journals usually have 2 bookmark strings, and I'll show you what I use those for. And this also has a pen loop and an elastic band. And this one's a little bit different than the ones that I usually get. It has like a contents page, and all of the pages are numbered. Also, these tab stickers I bought from Pippa's art shop. She's been bullet journaling for several years, so she recently like designed these stickers for herself, and then she started selling them recently, so I bought a couple. Right now I have a little page for like my monthly favorites, and so like each month I'll like put on here like what were some of my favorite things that month, or sometimes I'll put this band like where the month is, so that I can switch to it so I can see what's going on that month. So yeah, I like to kind of do different things for each month, and like different designs. Yeah, I like to do different things, different like designs. This one was very simple and kind of boring, honestly, but the flowers were kind of relaxing to do. So yeah, this is basically like a daily planner for the whole year. And I typically check in here daily and make sure that I did those things for that week. And I'll have like a notes area where like I'll keep things that don't really have a set date, but I know that I want to do it that week. Or sometimes it'll roll over to the next week or something like that. So yeah, that's my first journal in my little journal ecosystem. Now the next journal is almost completely customized, and I've been using this for a really long time. This is just a personal like writing journal. I think I've been writing here since like 2023 or 2024, and I'm obviously not gonna flip through the pages since it's very like personal, but this is lined paper, while the other one was a bullet journal with dotted paper. So this is a lined paper book. This is like one of the like journals that my partners had for years and just like never filled them up. So I started writing in them. This is customized because this edge, like this leather or whatever, is just like peeling off. So I just put a bunch of washi tape all around the edge. Even that's not even staying very well. And since that was peeling off, the band that was here, this like little magnetic band was peeling off too. So I literally took it off and I made this. I kept the magnet so it is magnetic, but I had some like scrap crochet, like a failed piece, and it was like the perfect length. So I just sewed that to some, I think this was from a scrunchie. This is like velvet or something here, and I just sewed that to it so that it would stay on here. And I think I put some cardboard in here so that it wasn't so loose. And then with one of my crochet kits, it came with these adorable ladybug things. I don't know if they're supposed to be buttons or something because they're completely flat. And I super glued it to this, and I thought it was really cute. And there's a ton of stickers on here, lots of different textured stickers, some 3D stickers. This is a patch that has like an adhesive side that I just stuck on here. And this is also a little Sanrio hipper. And this was like a blind box thing, and I actually got the secret one. I thought I could put this on like my iPad, because these typically go on like the back of your phone, like they sit up here. And I was worried about like it falling off on my phone, and I like to put my phone in my pocket a certain way, and that would prevent me from doing that. And then when I got home and I opened it, I realized that it did not fit on my iPad. So I was like, what if I just put this on one of my journals? And it fits pretty perfectly. And so it's like a little thing that I see every time I'm writing in here. So it's very cute and fun. So if you have any like hipper things, like blind box hipper toys or whatever, maybe start putting them on your books or like your sketchbooks, and just like have a little guy with you all the time. And this doesn't have a pen loop, but I use this pen to write lately, and instead of like grabbing it from like where I keep my pens, I just keep it in here. And I like writing with the Sharpie gel pens because they're smear proof and they dry really fast. And lately I've been writing with the .38. So the next journal in my little journal ecosystem is a workout journal. And this actually had a completely different cover, and I peeled that off and rebound it with construction paper because that texture of soft cover that was on here just did not like stickers. It just didn't take adhesive very well, so I just ripped it off and glued paper to it. And the hardest part was actually getting these elastic back on here, because as you can see, it was like this, and I was like, how am I gonna put that on here? So I carefully cut a hole, like a little slit in there, and I fed this through there and I glued it onto the back of this, because this is all very specifically on here, so I had to figure out how to do that. And I had to leave this part completely empty too, otherwise it wouldn't open. And it opens really well. And I don't mind the creasing here because it's paper. So yeah, this has a bookmark as well, and an elastic band that I put a pin on, and just a ton of stickers that I have. And I also have a bunch of magazine letters that I just haven't been using. So I glued those to index cards, cut those out so that you could see it a little bit more, since there's so much going on here. And then I glued that on top. And there's a ton of stickers on here. Some say gym and yoga and like hydrate. I think somewhere it says hydrate. Or maybe I covered it with all the other stickers. Those are from like a planner sticker flip book. So I put those on here because I never had a place to put those. And I kind of do it daily. I follow a lot of like YouTube videos of like Pilates. So I'll just write that I did Pilates that day. Or maybe if I lifted some weights, I'll write that down here. And I just liked knowing that I was productive that day, and just like seeing what workouts I did, because maybe I can redo them. So yeah, I just like keeping track of that kind of stuff. So if you like exercising or want to get into exercising more often, if that was your New Year's resolution or something, try writing down your workouts or like keeping track of it somehow. And I got this really cheap journal with like not really knowing what I was gonna write in here. So I was just like, what if I just start writing my like workouts? Because basically copying my partner because he was doing the same thing. And the final journal is my most recent journal in my ecosystem, is an idea journal. I have just been like keeping a bunch of notes on my notes app on my phone of like ideas for many things, and I remembered that I had a couple of these tiny books, and I was like, what if I just like wrote it down instead? Because I'd always keep like post-it notes and stuff, and there wasn't really a space for that in my bullet journal. So I started using this again. So I'm like halfway through it already because there was some writing in the previous pages that I just started it again. This has a nice string too, and I think all of these have one of these flaps for like extra like things you want to keep track of, and a cute bookmark too. And I recently put a bunch of cat themed stickers on here. It was kind of an accident, but I have a lot of cat themed stickers, and I left this area blank because I'm gonna put ideas on here so that I know what this book is. And I also have a little to-do sticker, so it's very fitting, it's very fun, and there's a lot of holographic stickers on here. And I actually just recently added this. This is like keyboard commands for my editing software, because there's just this one issue that I keep getting, and I don't know what button I'm pressing to mess with it, so I needed to write it down. And these are just some simple ones that if somehow I forgot them, I wrote them down on here. And this is one of the only journals that doesn't have a pen loop or really a space to keep a pen, so I will have to grab from my pencil case area to write in here. But I also keep it right next to that, so that way it's easy to grab both. And so the ideas that I typically have are like content ideas and like art ideas, video ideas, and like bullet journal ideas. If I just like had an idea for some kind of pattern or something for that monthly spread, I'll write it in here. And yeah, I'll just probably just like keep adding to it, starting like a new ideas page whenever I fill up that page. But I thought this was great to like keep track of what I've tried and if I want to try that again, because when I would finish all of those ideas on my notes app, I would just delete that note and never remember what those were. So I wanted to start writing that down and just stay off my phone more often and just like be a little bit more analog, as people are calling it, just like writing things down more often and, you know, doing whatever I can to not doom scroll until it ruins my mental health. So that was all of my journals. I forgot to mention that I'm like I said, I'm not going to open the pages in here, but if you like to keep track of like what you did that day that isn't really in your bullet journal, I used to use a app on my phone to like track my moods, and then when I got a new phone, it was no longer available. So I just started writing it down instead. What I have been doing is like writing the date at the top, and then like a smiley face or a sad face, depending on my mood that day. And then like the feelings that I was feeling that day, and then like the things that I did that day. So if I did homework, or if I exercised, or even if I was drawing my sketchbook that day, I'll kind of write that down, and then like write like underneath that like more thoughts and stuff like that. So that's a little idea for you, and it's just a great way to get your emotions out, especially if you struggle with like talking about them. You know, I suggest writing. You know, I think it's just a great like coping mechanism. So yeah, this is my journal ecosystem. Yes, it may be a lot, but I do write in these daily, and I do like writing things down rather than like using my phone for something, especially if it's like a daily tracker or like a task thing. I'd rather write it down and just stay off my phone as much as I can. And it also gives me a great excuse to use my stickers. Whenever I get a new journal, I'll have a ton of stickers available for me to put on them. And I think it's just a lot of fun writing things down. My handwriting though is absolutely awful. You might have got a sneak peek of it as I was flipping through some pages. And it especially changes depending on my mood that day. So in here I can, whenever I flip through this, I'm like, oh, it doesn't even look like I wrote English. Like it doesn't even look like words or letters. It's just, my handwriting changes and it's just really, really bad. I did recently see this reel on Instagram where somebody was like, why do my art skills get better but my handwriting gets worse? And then a ton of people were like, that happens to me too. And I was like, maybe that's why, or maybe I don't know why my handwriting is so bad. Even just yesterday I was working on a thumbnail and I wanted to like write stuff on the thumbnail, but I was just struggling. My handwriting is awful. I do not have cute handwriting. I write like mixed with print and script, and it often doesn't look like the word that I'm writing. It's just really, really bad. But it's, at least I can understand it sometimes. If I'm ever reading back on like whatever I did last year or how I was feeling last year, and I'll be like, what does that say? If you have great handwriting, it would probably be really nice to look through your pages, but my handwriting is awful. But yeah, that was my ecosystems. We have 4 journals. I don't know if I'll start another journal, even though this one was the most recent. Yeah, I think 4 is pretty good. Let me know how many journals you have. Do you have a little journal ecosystem, or do you just keep one journal? And let's get talking about journals in the comments. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe you got some ideas for your journals, or maybe you have a journal like mine, like a workout journal or an idea journal. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.